also spoke at length with coalition Knesset member Dov Lipman from Yesh Atid. I asked the American-born lawmaker if he believed the draft law will pass second and third reading and become law.
I absolutely believe the draft law is going to pass the second and third reading. We're in committee right now where it might go through some minor modifications, but nothing major. And there will be a law which says that we're one nation and we serve together with tremendous sensitivity to the religious side.
The Haredim are very much against it. They're saying that your party, the Knesset, is trying to destroy their way of life. Everything they've built up in this country is being destroyed by this new law that will change their society completely.
I assume that the Haredi political parties will make a lot of noise, just like they did in the past. We'll just continue to emphasize that there is no 3,000-year tradition of only learning Torah and not working and not being part of society. It's just the opposite. The 3,000-year tradition is to learn Torah, be committed in an Orthodox way, and that's fine, but to be part of society, and there's no contradiction, and that's what we'll keep emphasizing, so that all those who are listening to the debate won't think that somehow in passing this legislation we're destroying Torah or destroying the world of Torah. From my perspective, we're just enhancing it.
And you feel that you have the votes, both within the committee and within the Knesset plenum as a whole?
And the committee's going to vote first. The committee had not done that yet. It's reading through the law right now, and there are suggestions being made or alternative ideas being suggested. The Army is present as well, and they explain why the alternatives don't work and why they can work. There is discussion. At times it is civil, but ultimately we're going to vote on the law, and then it will come to the Knesset for a second and third reading. I think we anticipate within a month's time possibly. When that happens, I want to emphasize, a letter is going to go out to 28,000 Haredim, who right now are not allowed to go to work because they're in the draft age and they're bound by the draft, saying you are free to go to work. Meaning if you're in yeshiva, or if you're in kollel, simply because you have nothing else to do and you can't go to work and you don't want to serve, 28,000 will be receiving letters explaining how they can find work, how they can be trained for work. We're working on the letter right now, and that in and of itself could be a significant change for the Haredi community.
One hears a lot of different opinions about what the Army thinks. They either very much want them or they very much don't want them. They can't handle so many Haredim will disrupt their way of life. What are you hearing from the Army representatives inside the committee?
The IDF representatives have been so clear in the committee that, yes, they do need the Haredi soldiers. They've said it over and over again. And they have said that they have absolutely zero problem creating these special units. They've explained at length what they're going to make this happen, including some of the rabbis pointed out that on the day that the Haredim are first drafted, it's a very traumatic experience, those first few days in a secular environment. They're creating a 16 million shekel draft center for the Haredim in the Army to meet their needs. No one can say that they're not needed in the Army, and no one can say that the Army is not open to making adjustments for them.
Another big contentious issue coming up in this session, electoral reform, changing the threshold for entry into the Knesset from 2% to 4%. Your party advocates 6%. Where does that bill stand now? Where is it going?
We do expect the law to pass the electoral reform bill, which also, by the way, reduces the number of ministers, and there's a few other things which are very important for the operation of the government. The committee is most likely going to come to a compromise of 3% for the threshold. That's where it seems to be headed. But yes, our goal as a party is to raise it and get to a point where it's 6%. We feel that it'll be much better for the country, for the citizens of the country, and for even democracy in the country.
But the counter-argument is that there are small segments of society who feel that they wouldn't be represented if the threshold was raised, that they'd be swallowed up inside a much bigger party and their interests would not be represented.
Having parties that represent narrow interests is what has stalled our government, and it's the reason why the mainstream of the country does not receive what it needs, and we haven't moved forward on so many key issues. The idea is not to stifle the voices of these small minorities. They should be part of larger parties, have their voice heard. Yes, they won't get 100% of what they want within those parties, but that's the way to have their voices heard within the framework of larger parties, and that will be better for the overall functioning of the government.